Welcome to the new Overlords Podcast. I'm Max, and this is a video game show where I'm joined every week by our very own pirate queen in space. It's Sema. Hello there, Sema.
I want to be a pirate, and I want to be a queen, and I want to be in space.
Are we in space, or are you the pirate queen in space? What the hell do I mean by that? I try to find something for the intro. We're going to be talking about Sea of Thieves in space, which is actually 3 games now. There's 3 of these. I played one this past week. I played Jump Space, and I need to pause as I'm saying that mentally because it's changed its name 3 times, actually. It used to be called Hyperspace, then it was called Jump Ship, and now it's called Jump Space, and it just released, and it's really good. We're going to talk about that. But there's 2 others. One that you may not have heard about, and then WildGate, which we have talked about. All of that's coming in the second half of the show, and it's Sea of Thieves in space, and Sema's a pirate queen.
Yes.
So welcome, Sema.
Why, thank you. I'm good. How are you, Max?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Hey, you want to talk about game news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Good news, everyone!
First up in the game news, from the category of reasons we can't have nice things, although they are going to keep it around, Epic Games and Fortnite has a new game mode. And it's called Delulu.
I love that it's called Delulu.
Did you know what Delulu? I mean, I've heard people saying,
No.
Boy, you didn't know this means delusional?
I did not. Well, now I see it, now that you say that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just Delulu. But no, I've never used it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I knew what that was right away. Because I'm hip with the youngsters, fellow kids.
Yes. Right. Oh, often in the context of K-pop fandom, even hotter.
So speaking of Gen Z talk, and I mean, that isn't even Gen Z, but it's probably millennial.
No. It can also be used positively by Gen Z to describe a hopeful, self-confident mindset, as in Delulu is the solulu. Delusional is the solution.
Sweet. Excellent. There was
the new, visualize it and it will be true, basically.
One of my feeds has had some linguist who was giving a presentation to a bunch of high schoolers and decided to do it all in Gen Z as part of like describing how language changes and all of this kind of thing. It was really, really well done. But I came on my Instagram reels or something. I'm watching it and I didn't not recognize anything he said. Like it all made complete sense to me. I'm thinking, is that good or bad? Why do I? I know it. Yes, all of this makes complete sense to me. Everything that he's saying.
You have wide composure. You have wide exposure to pop culture. So
I do.
You have a wide overview. Yeah.
I'm pop culture seeking. So anyway, they decided to put a new mode in, and it's got a couple components. One of the components is your team up with people, and because you can team up, you can like have your team go all the way till the end. Still only one person can win out of the battle royale. So at some point you need to betray your team member, which is part of the fun. I don't know if I don't like that, but I wish you could both win. I mean, if you finally team up with somebody, why can't you both win? But that's all part of the game. But the other part in order to enable that is proximity voice chat. And proximity voice chat in video games has a long history of bringing people together and uniting them and providing an opportunity for socialization. No, it was a shit show. So they did it in 2 phases. The first phase was just with content creators. They just gave out codes to content creators and they all got in it, and it was actually really, really great. And there's videos of this and everybody's like chatting and like they're like spontaneous dance parties because they can all talk to each other, and it's people that maybe had never even met in voice but know each other because they're all part of the content creator community. It was really, really good. And then they turned it on for the public, and it's still only 1%, but it's the typical 1% that's either screaming children or racist, misogynist dirtbags who then ended up getting banned. And, so like thousands of people were getting banned last weekend as a result. So can't have nice things, although they are going to keep it around, it sounds like. So that's good. They're going to keep it on weekends. And my initial point to this, we were talking about in the pre-show, and my initial point to this was, how did they think that this was going to work? They should never have tried it. But then you said, as long as say what you said, as long as they have a fallback plan.
Yeah,
Blah, blah, blah.
a fallback plan. Yeah, like try it. Keep pushing limits, and you might have to execute your fallback plan. But I mean,
Sure.
Yeah, there's going to be some amount of player misbehavior always. So
Right.
don't design your features just for the misbehaviors.
Yeah, that seems reasonable, and that's a good way to. That's a motto to live by that Sema's got there. So I agree with that. Good on them for trying it out. And
they're not the only game. I think there's a number of games that have a proximity voice thing, or add-ons that can provide it in games.
True,
But
there are quite a few where it tends to get used relatively well. It makes me think.
And in the tradition of Fortnite has everything.
Right. And is a platform. Might as well, if they could ever get it to work, to create the kind of community where positive voice chat and was good, was effective and worked well, that would be wonderful.
Yep.
I almost think if they started every weekend, because they're only doing it on the weekends, if they did like the first night, like Friday night was only content creators, and then the rest of the weekend was open, and they did that every single weekend. Players are influenced by the content creators, and if they only see the content creators the first night, and everybody's like in all of their Twitch streams watching them do the new mode, and the content creators are all cool, then people are going to be cool because they're gonna. It's like, look how much fun they're having by doing this, and they're not running around calling people, poo-poo heads. I'm going to be that way. As opposed to the other thing that happens where you get a bunch of negative content creators just in another genre, that just trash everything. And then everybody gets on forums and imitates that behavior. And that's why every forum for every genre of every game on Reddit is only people that hate that thing. It's totally true. Go to MMORPG, /r MMORPG. It's filled with only the people that hate every MMO. They maybe have nostalgia for one old MMO, and everything else is crap. Technology is the same way. I get so disappointed. Every new technology article that comes out, everyone in that technology subreddit trashes it of why it's the worst thing ever. It's like, then you are not technology. You don't like technology. Why are you here? Go to the anti-technology place. You've turned that into this. But it's much easier to be edgy. Anyway, good article. Fun times. Good job, Epic. Also, in the news, Pal World, on the heels of Pokemon announcing that they have a game coming out, the farming game, a little Animal Crossing farming Stardew Valley-ish thing.
Yep.
Pal World has announced theirs a week later, and people are saying, you're just copying Nintendo again. And then Pocket Parrot came out and said, yeah, right. In 1 week, in 5 days, we magically created a copy of their game and made trailers and put it out. No, we haven't been working on this for the last 2 years. Yeah, good job, guys. You found it. Super sleuths.
I think that answer's kind of sus. Especially if you look at the trailer. They definitely could have made the trailer in a week.
I don't think they could have. How could they have put up? Okay, let's talk about the trailer. I don't think they could have. How could they have made something so weirdly congruent yet dystopian? I think this had to take many iterations to make it so weird in such a short 2-minute trailer, to make it so uncomfortable yet cozy yet Pepper.
I didn't think it was cozy at all. It was just all uncomfortable.
So it started out weird because it was just the little, it was the little meow, Mewtwo, the Mewtwo Pokemon, whatever they call it in Pal World.
And you know it's a cat because it says meow after every sentence.
It says meow at the end of every sentence, much like Super Troopers. Meow, do I look like a cat to you, boy? So jumping around all nimbly pimbly. Right, meow.
So it starts off with this cat who clearly wants to escape something.
Right. And you're right. He lives in this dystopian hellscape of a life. He's cute and he runs out to this cute little farm, but his dialogue is how he hates his life.
Because he's got to pay off his debt.
Is that... Where's my cozy farm life? Meow. It's just mud and sweat every day. Meow. This is no point in complaining. Meow. Got to pay off my debt quick.
So do we rescue Cativa or what? No, nobody knows.
No, they don't know. And then it zooms out into this cute little farm, and you got your little pals hopping around, jumping around. It's a little weird because I don't completely understand why they couldn't just do all of this inside of Pal World.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Why not? I mean,
it's like, oh, look, here's the blacksmith. I've got a blacksmith in Pal World. Here's the little crops you can plant. I plant those in Pal World. I'm not really completely getting it complete. And I guess you can have like raids where other pals are like attacking your little farm, just like they do in Pal World. So yeah, that was a little weird. But it's supposed to be like a more cozy game that they talk about it as a cozy game, except for then halfway through, where did we get to? I gotta, well, the little bunny rabbit with the plastic fuzzy bunny rabbit with the photorealistic chainsaw is a little juxtaposition of those two. Even just those two assets just are not congruent.
And that bunny just has that evil look on its face.
Yes, it's got the angry eyes, but the little pink
with the little smile,
and then running around with the chainsaw, and then it's like Unreal 5 trees and a little plastic bunny cutting down the Unreal 5 trees, and then you get to 109, and there's this dude, no context. Hey, how about a game? I'll go first. It's like some scary dude with a smile, glowing yellow eyes. He's a hooded cloak, a pipe coming out of his mouth. He picks up a revolver, like a photorealistic revolver, and puts it to his own head and spins it for what is going on? How is this even a thing? I don't know.
Do we want him to survive or do we want him to get shot in the head?
I don't know. Am I like forced to play or something? What is even this thing? And then apparently you can get married because they throw in like a 5-second scene of a wedding ceremony with pals, but a human companion to the main companion or the main character of the, I don't know. And then they finish it off. How do they finish it off? Just to slam the point home that this is cozy, but not. So it's like post credit title sequence. The little penguin shows up, says, "Hey, want to be my friend?" And she's,
I'm confident in my ability to read people, and you seem really nice.
And she's like, "Nope," and pulls out a Pokeball and enslaves him.
Right, and he goes, "Ah!"
And he screams. Yeah, he screams as he is sucked into the Pokeball, which I thought they weren't allowed to use. I thought they voluntarily decided not to use balls and they turned them into Poke Pyramids or something instead, because the balls in particular were part of the weird Nintendo patents where Nintendo decided to patent the idea of readable text in video games or whatever they decide to patent next. Anyway, two new cozy farm games coming out. Not that the Poke Pocopia doesn't have its own weirdness going on with the main character who looks like a human but isn't a human because it's actually a ditto that copied a human, so that when it does things like plant the grass, instead of like shaking some seeds out, it turns its arms into tentacles and slams them into the ground. And then to water the grass, it barfs water balls out of its mouth. Because it's not a human. It's just a ditto that decided to take the shape of a human. So, okay.
Look, even the
weird.
little turtle is kind of amazed.
Yeah. What the hell did I do that? That Squirtle is like, what did I just witness here? That's disturbing. So yeah. Okay. So fun times going on in Pokemon Pal worlds. And we will see more of that as that evolves.
At least Pocopia has a look.
A consistent style, correct. Pocopia is consistent, whereas Pal World
Farm is just like, what?
Yeah, Pal World, it's like the characters are all Pokemon style kind of, but then the ground and background assets are all like Unreal 5
just assets right out of the book. Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird. Yeah, like look at all these like rocks and gravel. This is all like photorealistic. And for the trailer, I don't think they do this in the game, but they're even doing like the cinematic thing where you have soft focus on the edges and it's hard focus in the middle, which does weird things. And then, but all of the pals themselves are all like just like the plastic Pokemon style. It's jarring. But I think it's kind of supposed to be. I mean, that's their whole deal. So it's Pokemon with guns. Aren't we crazy? I like Pal World. But yeah, I also don't see why you couldn't just do all of this in Pal World. Next up in the news, this only caught my eye, just real short. I haven't played Silent Hill F, but it's already out there. It's supposed to be pretty good for a scary game. And part of the deal is the whole world's like covered in this fog, and there's modders day one who removed the fog, which I think is kind of cool in terms of getting to actually see the world. Now, I realize in this case, and I've talked about this before, I realize in this case it breaks the game. The whole idea is the fog is supposed to be there so that the scariness in the atmosphere carries. And it serves a narrative purpose. It serves a gameplay purpose. What I don't like, and I've ranted about before, is in video games where they add weather just because, hey, isn't it cool that we've got weather and it like rains or it's foggy all the time and you can't see anything. It's like, why did you bother why not just do a low poly world if you're not even going to let me see anything ever? So here, having the opportunity to take away the fog and just like see the world as an aside outside of the game, because yes, it breaks the game. I kind of like that as an option just to take a look around. In your game, if you're going to have darkness or you're going to have weather, make it so like V Rising does, so that I want the night. I like the day and I like the night. It brings something to the table. I desire it. And arrange it so it looks really good. You've got a whole bunch of opportunities to use emissive textures and, glowing and lighting and flame and fire to make night really pop. Don't just turn off the lights and go, hey, it's dark. Get out a torch so you can see 1 foot radius around you.
Give us some sliders, because we don't all have the same monitor and the same graphics card, and we don't all have the same settings on our monitors and stuff. And so I've played in some games where darkness is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Just can't see anything.
And
the other way around, white things on snow.
Makes me so angry I want to shoot a magic missile at the darkness.
Yeah.
Ask your grandparents. It's an older meme, but it checks out.
Does it though?
Maybe not. Tell me about
No, it does.
Lotro.
I'm just kidding. It
I
does.
love I shoot magic missile at the darkness. Lotro. Lotro's kicking along, isn't it, Sema?
Yes.
What's Lotro
Yeah.
doing?
So new X-Pack coming called Kingdoms of Harad, which is an existing land in the Lord of the Rings, although the action of this X-Pack and the one before it take place after the ring has been destroyed, the Ring of Power has been destroyed, and Frodo and company have left for the West.
Yes.
The whole elven sort of move to the West happened over thousands of years, but specifically when Frodo left.
Right.
He's already gone. So, which, I mean, I kind of love this idea. They've been doing original story from the beginning. Like when you play Lord of the Rings online, you're not playing as one of the main characters of the book and just play through the stories in the book. So you're still playing your own story. So they've been making up stories from the beginning or
Yeah.
creating a narrative from the beginning, and they're just continuing to do so.
This looks like Gandalf, so Gandalf must still be around in their narrative.
Yeah, no, he's definitely still around. Yeah, because he goes to and Aragorn is in Gondor, and Boromir or somebody
being
is
the
in
king.
Rohan. Yeah, and
Well, Boromir's
so
dead, but Faramir.
Gandalf shows up. Yeah, Faramir, right? So Gandalf shows up in
Spoilers. Boromir dies.
Kingdoms of in one of the there's multiple kingdoms of Harad. There's like a northern and a southern, or an inner and an outer, or something. But he shows up and brings, harbinger of bad things coming.
Gandalf, Greymane,
'Cause
late you come to my kingdom bearing bad news, ill omens.
As ever.
As
The
ever. This is
character
the place where
level
like
is
the
getting-
Oliphants came from, and all the dudes that joined the Mordor army that had the
Yes.
black eyeshadow.
Yes, because they were primarily controlled by Sauron, and
Right.
yeah, so they wanted to be freed too.
Yeah, at least the ones that showed up were corrupted. There could be backstories about ones that resisted back in the homeland. Who knows? I don't know what their story is here. With the 400 quests that they're advertising that are going to be part of this, it's significant.
And the character level is raised to 160.
160.
That is crazy. Like when WoW did their level squish, their max level at the time I think was 110 or 120, and they squished it down to 60, and that was like just fraught with different levels of reactions. But I get it now, because I'm not sure I got it completely before, but I feel daunted when I think about character level of 160. Like, can I even start playing this game?
Right. I never finished leveling up a character because I got to like level 65 or whatever. And then I was like, at the time, only halfway. I'm like, what the hell?
Now you'd be like third of the way.
Yeah. Jiminy Christmas, guys. Like, but part of the problem is the later parts of the game you're locked out of it. Like, I never got to Rohan to ride my warhorse in mounted battle because I was only 65 levels into the game. It's like, come on.
Wait. So you have to level, okay.
Yeah, you have to level up all the way to Rohan.
I think it's kind of wonderful that they are still there creating this world for people, and that there's people there living it. It's just it's hard to get in that, when you're trying to get in the jump rope and they're turning it and you have to jump at the right moment. It's like, where do you start with a game like this? But the people who play it love it. So I would not.
What about second level cap? Well played. Yeah. I admire that they're continuing to provide content for the loyalists.
I do too. Yep.
And I know a lot of people live in this game and love it. And that's great.
Yeah.
I do think, and I think you can buy like skips and stuff these days. So maybe I'm complaining about things that are solved in some way.
Yep.
But still, it's a lot.
Could be.
It is a lot. So yeah, 160 levels. I was thinking they should have capped it at 111. Yeah, 111 levels, like Bilbo's birthday. I think that would have been
I remember
enough.
someone saying to me like many, many years ago, like they should, when an X-Pac that they shouldn't make you level more levels. And at the time I thought, blasphemy. Of course I want to level more levels because
I
but now I
like
kind of see,
leveling levels. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I like the level skip as an option. So Sask is asking, wasn't there talk of Bethesda making a Lord of the Rings game? I don't think it was Bethesda, but yes, a Lord of the Rings game by Amazon was
yeah.
in production. A Lord of the Rings MMO was in production and then wasn't in production. But now the rumors are that it may be back on the menu, boys.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
So we shall see if that ever sees the light of day. But their partner in development talks broke down from that perspective, and then they shut down that version of the project and spun it back up, is what I heard.
They spun it back up with their own studio.
Yes. I would love to see a Lord of the Rings modern MMO built on the Lumberyard engine in the same richness of style and
Of New World, yeah.
beauty of New World. Yeah. I think New World is a great platform for that kind of game.
But I think Lotro is onto something in the way they tell the story. It's your own story, but you are not one of the heroes of the Lord of the Rings story, and I like that about it.
What a great way to be part of the Lord of the Rings universe without everyone being the ring bearer or everyone being Aragorn, the king.
Right.
Whereas a lot of the other games, like in Star Wars, we're the Outlander hero. We each are. WoW has gone back and forth a little bit and tends to default back to you're just part of the warband or you're just part of the kingdom in a good way.
Yeah.
And has made it part of their narratives that you never kill the big bad boss, even though your raid party goes in there and does 99% of the damage. They always bring in like Thrall at the end to have the killing blow. So it's not like
they often do. Or like in Star Wars where the Terror from Beyond just kind of leaves the galaxy.
Yes. Yeah, it got sucked out. So that was that's a good. It got sucked into the dimension from whence it came. That wasn't even from our dimension.
It was from beyond and it went back to beyond.
It was.
But we made it happen.
What else, Sema? What else you been playing lately? Because I played a couple other things besides Jump Ship, which we'll talk about shortly. I played some Dune and I played some No Man's Sky. How about you? What else have you been playing?
I've been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Which shocking. I also played.
And World of Warcraft retail, and a little bit of World of Warcraft Pandaria, the classic version of Pandaria. I got kind of sucked into that, and haven't revisited hardcore in a while, but I haven't given up on it. I haven't mentally given up on it.
So we're about 2.5 weeks out from Legion Remix. Are you still on the I'm totally not going to play that except for all the hours that I'm going to sink into it? Is that still your plan?
I am going to play it, and I'm going to be an undead frost death knight, I've been told. That's my
so you did get sucked into the shrimp telling you what you got to do, and you have a job now?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I mean, the original job he gave me was too hard, so he changed it to another. But anyway, yes, I am going to be. That's what I'm going to do, which is interesting because I don't Do you? I mean, I have a Death Knight that I leveled up like halfway. So I never really fell in love with Death Knight. It's a Death Knight's weird because actually it's weird to have an undead Death Knight because like does that mean they got like undeaded twice?
Yeah. That's true. I guess that is a little bit weird, but it's it's been many, many years, but I played Death Knight for a while and really liked it. I think I did play Frost. I didn't play, but it's Frost, Blood, and Undeath, like green, red, and
Yeah,
blue.
something like
Uh,
that. Yeah.
I did like the whole idea of the runes and the balance of resource and expending the resource, and it felt pretty good when I do
So I did
remember it.
spend a little bit of time in the character creator looking at undead models and stuff, and I can make a female undead that kind of looks like Elvira. So it's got like black like hair with that poof in the back,
Yeah,
and then like
Bride of
um
Frankenstein-y kind of feeling
yeah,
that she's got. Yeah,
right. So I gotta find. Hopefully, I can find something in transmog that looks like a black gown.
that sounds great. We're gonna have to see some pictures of that in the future as well.
Yeah.
So that is coming on October 7th.
Yeah.
Should be interesting. Yeah, I played some Dune. I did finish the chapters, the chapters, sort of the main story. I'm almost done with the DLC mini bit of content, which will then unlock the wheel speeder mount. But I haven't just finished that part yet. I'd have to look. Just finished the main chapter part, and there's a part at the end where I guess not too spoiler. There's like a bat that's part of the trailers. And the bat has a name. It's Noctua, and then like Noctua comes to like you at the end, and in theory, like part of the narrative, part of the message you get at the end is like, well, Noctua is yours now. Take good care, share your water, and Noctua will be a good friend. Except I don't think they actually gave it to you as a pet. It doesn't like it's just like in a cutscene. So I really feel ripped off. if I have to double check. We don't get Noctua, do we? Chat room, does anybody know? Is Forster in there or whoever was playing Dune? We don't get Noctua as a pet, do we? Because I didn't see that, and it kind of just told me that we did in the cutscene, and I'm very sad if that, because in the cutscene it's pretty cool. It like comes and flies and sits on your arm and yawns and does its little bat face movements. Anyway, I played that, and then I also, because I've been trying to stand up more during the day and not sit all day at my desk for 18 hours a day, because that's bad
Right.
for you, and it's been feeling really bad lately. In order to play games standing up, I did a little VR, and I did this last night. I did some No Man's Sky, my favorite game in VR. I tried to play some of the Expedition in VR, and playing the Expedition is great. Constructing a Corvette in VR doesn't really work, because when you play it on the PC, it does a zoomed out overhead view, and you can rotate around, and it's like, it's like a fly out view, and you can snap pieces on, and you're like in a build mode, build view. Well, in VR, you can still open the menu and grab a piece, but you're just still you in first person view standing around in VR. So trying to like put pieces on top of the ship, or you gotta like, I had to like jetpack up and stand on top of the ship, and then the snapping didn't really work, and I had to like, I barely got like the baseline 8-piece Corvette snapped together by the end. So that didn't really work. But once I got it snapped together, it was very cool to be able to just go walk up inside the Corvette, and I can walk around. I could sit down in the pilot's chair. I love how you get in and out of a spaceship, or in this case, sit in the pilot's chair. It does sort of like this little animation to get you in the chair. But then if you want to get back out in the ships or out of the pilot chair, there's like a handle, and you grab onto it, so with the controller, you're squeezing the controller, you grab onto the handle and you push it down if you're sitting in the pilot seat, or you pull it up if you're opening the canopy of your ship. And it's a really nice control, and it feels really good. And that game is great in VR. On the planet, when you're mining resources, or you're using your multi-tool to break down a rock and get the resources out of it, that feels really good. So it's a really good game in VR. So that was good. And then I was tired of standing, and then I wanted to sit down by the end.
And then what did you play when you wanted to sit down? Spreadsheets?
Actually, I did do a little bit of spreadsheet work last night. So, of course, always spreadsheet time. It's good times. Because I had a call with my accountant, and I had to look at my spreadsheets before I talked to my accountant. Also coming soon. So October 7th is Legion Remix, but tomorrow, so this is tomorrow, is Hades 2. We didn't talk about that in previous weeks. Previously this week, Slime Rancher 2 released. That's only been on my radar because Slime Rancher shares a little bit of DNA with the game that we're making, Garden and a Goat. It's not really, but kind of a tiny bit. So there's some things that we're just sort of keeping an eye on. And one of the development tasks that I have that I'm working on, we've had in design for a year, since the beginning in the original vision document for the game, is drones. We're gonna have drones, and we've already had the drone console since the beginning as well. And they're going to be, you can pull out a drone to help you with tasks, and it'll be different ones that you'll be able to unlock as you go along. Well, I'm watching the Slime Rancher trailer, and they're like, and we've brought back drones. I was like, oh, great. Good for you. But their drones are very limited and do a lot less. And it's mostly like you send it off to, their game is much more about exploration. Ours is not. So we aren't copying them. They're not copying us. Don't say that we are. And we're not the pocket pair in this case. So we're okay.
Yeah.
October 23rd, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, and October 29th, Outer Worlds 2. Those are the other two that I'm waiting for in October in particular. But I keep eyeballing that October 7th Warcraft's Legion remix. And maybe I'll play it for a half hour.
Why? What interests you about remix?
I just haven't played World of Warcraft in so long.
So it's like an entree in a way.
It's just like it'd be like easy to like jump in and play. Like if I log on to World of Warcraft now, I open. This is what happens.
Wouldn't know where to go. Then your inventory is stuffed of stuff you don't know what it is.
It's the inventory more than anything else. But yes, where am I? What am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And why is my inventory filled with all of this stuff that maybe it's super valuable and rare and worth like a subscription's worth of credits, gold or whatever, or maybe it's worthless. I don't know. And I have to look up these 5,000 things in my inventory on a website to find out.
So in a way too, like Blizzard has made that process even worse, because if you are away from your account for 6 months or more, when you come back, it has this option where it can upgrade all your gear to a certain point that has to do with your level and all that stuff. And if you click on that, because who wouldn't, right? Like, I don't want to like miss having higher level gear. But then they take all your gear that you did have and put it in your inventory, which it won't fit in your inventory. So then it's in the mail. And not only that, they gift you with 4 20-slot bags. Well, if you had 30-slot bags in there before, then all that stuff goes into your inventory and the bags.
I think I heard about this and knew not to do that. I've encountered it before, but this is a pro tip.
Don't click on that. But also, they also reworked how bank inventory works now. So, like, if your character is level 70 or whatever, you might find that you have like 1,000 slots in your bank.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that'll be okay then. I mean, it's just a problem for future Max just to dump all that stuff in the bank. It doesn't actually solve anything, but I could at least dump it somewhere.
Yeah, they took away, so like bags don't mean anything. They just made it so that you have tabs like a guild bank does, or or your warband bank does now. So those bags will also be in your inventory, so you can take those out, and if they're soulbound, you might as well just vendor them. But
I should just take some time and clean it up. Because it's dumb things too. I think I still have I have like this nice little row of food and drink at the bottom of my bag, and it's like all neatly arranged. So I'm thinking like it's useful stuff, and then I'm like, oh, this heals X amount, and then I look at my health.
Yeah, right.
X amount, and it's like 0.5% of my health. It's like 200 and you've got 100,000 health. Like, oh, I guess this is not useful anymore. But it's like so well arranged. It's like from 2 expansions ago. I don't know. I just need to clean this stuff out.
Yeah, I mean,
Or play
I don't
Legion
know if
Remix, because you roll a new character for Legion Remix, right?
right, you do roll a new character.
Well, there you go.
So, I mean, but I think the whole thing was in vanilla WoW and maybe even into BC, there were the odd item that you would get that would be like valuable till the end of time. But as a thing, that kind of went away.
Yeah.
So like all the like mounts and pets you have that were copies, so you couldn't learn them. Well, the bad thing about those is a lot of them you have to delete, which is like several clicks for each thing you have to delete, which I don't like
Also
clicks.
fun. I'm out.
I'm out. But I'm saying I don't think you would suffer if you just vendored like 80%.
Declare bankruptcy.
Like I think you already know the things that are valuable to you.
If I type in chat, I declare bankruptcy, does it clean it all up for me?
Only if you do it all in chaps, all in caps.
I didn't say it. I declared it.
Right. So I don't think you'll hurt yourself by vendoring things.
Okay. Well,
especially since you're not going to log in again.
I will for midnight. So there's that. So eventually I'm going to have to do it. And it'll be the launch day of midnight. And then I'll log in and I'll be really mad that I didn't do it ahead of time.
I'm pretty sure there's nothing in your inventory that will be helpful in midnight. But you don't want to get rid of stuff that you have nostalgic attachments to. But if you go through and don't know what it is and where you got it, that doesn't qualify as something with nostalgic attachment.
Yeah, no, it's not that as much as it's like, well, if you collected like these 4 things, you could still go to that area, use these 4 things and summon the thing which drops the pet. And then I feel bad deleting those things, or because those are the things that I would keep in my bag and I kind of like collected. And that's what I don't, that's what I just need to either remember or look up or just get rid of, as you say. It's like, am I ever going to go back and do that? No, I'm not.
You're right. You're absolutely right. They could come in handy, or you could just store them as gold and get them.
But if it's going to prevent, if them being there is making me not play at all, well then just delete them. I'll just delete them.
Yeah,
that's what I should do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I go through this periodically in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Also, I just go, you know what? Why? This is giving me anxiety and depression. I should just vendor all this crap that I don't know where to put it.
Vendor it.
And
delete it. Clean it up.
Yeah. Right. They make it easy to delete things in Star Wars, so
they do.
Kudos for that.
Yeah, they have a special new special delete box where it'll disassemble anything that can be disassembled, and if it can't, it shuffles over to the delete side automatically, and you sort of like see it there, and you queue it all up, and then you press one button, and it does it all. Yeah, they did a nice thing there. All right, this podcast is brought to you by you, all of you out there. Thank you for watching, listening, and being in the chat room right now. Even though we made people leave in the pre-show when we were talking about microbiology. This podcast is also brought to you by Alei Iacta Est, AIE-guild.org, the game community that we play with. Stask is in the chat room. He's running our Star Wars division lately. It's been really fun in our Tuesday night fun nights with Stask, so thank you there. And by Garden and a Goat, the new game coming from Contemplation Games, which will probably be hitting early access in early 2026, beta later this winter. All right, Sema, I played this new game called Jump Space, and me and my crew, I recorded a little bit of audio of us playing. Do you want to hear what it sounded like?
Yeah, I do.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, good, I can't maneuver.
Stay on target.
We're too close.
Stay on target.
Loosen up!
that was us. No, I played it solo. I didn't even play with a crew. This is a game made for playing with friends. I just couldn't arrange getting. Nobody's as insane as I am too. Oh, the day came out. Let's all spend money and let's get a group of 4 people in there, spend money and take off an extra night of playing other games and go play a game right now. Everybody was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
well, yeah. So
Uh,
I did play it though, and I played it solo, and it is very soloable. So we'll talk about that. It is now the third. It's been in development. It's been actually in early access for a while now, and there's been people playing it. There's videos out there for it, but it hit 1.0. It is a great iteration on this new evolving genre, which is basically Sea of Thieves and now Sea of Thieves in space. There are three Sea of Thieves in space. It's Jump Space, WildGate, which we've talked about, which is more of just the PvP part of Sea of Thieves in space, and Void Crew, which I'll also talk about, because Void Crew and Jump Space are pretty close to peer games, and both of them are doing some nice things. So they'll be fun to talk about. But I played Jump Space, so we'll talk about that for a couple minutes because I like it. I had a lot of fun. It's made by a small indie team called Keepsake Games. They are very experienced game makers who made a bunch of other cool games, but 5 of them then got together and decided they were going to form this little studio and put this game together over the course of the past couple of years. They've been working on it for a while. So they're based out of Stockholm, Sweden. That's where they're based out of. It is PvE, crewed ship, multi-job, ship crew, fly your ship around, and also do some ground assault kind of things while you're executing missions in space. And as you crew the ship, there are multiple roles that anybody can dynamically switch in and out of, which is kind of the genius of these games, which are flying the ship, piloting the ship around, manning the guns, or maintaining the ship. And maintaining the ship means responding to events, like parts of the ship could catch on fire. You need to go put out the fire. You might be getting upgrades and be needing to physically go plug those upgrades in to the ship as you're going. Or you may be needing to man a turret or man a gun and be shooting, be part of the assault crew, shooting other ships as you're flying around. When you play solo, you got to kind of jump in and out of doing all of those roles yourself, but they give you a robot companion, which jumps in and does some of these roles for you as well. And it works pretty well. I really had a lot of fun playing it solo, and the robot companion was doing a good job and felt like an actual companion, not like doing the wrong thing. It always seemed to be doing the right thing. It always seemed to be being a big help to me. But, so it is very soloable. But these games are much better with friends, and I can't wait to potentially play it with friends if we can get it going at some point as well. But yeah, so it's quite cool. I had a lot of fun playing it. It's a good game. I've shown some pictures of it here. I really like it graphically.
I'm surprised to hear you say that it was fun solo, because I thought for sure they had put so much work into the sort of co-op aspect of it that it would feel not as good.
I bet it doesn't feel as good, but because I wanted to try all of the roles anyway, and the little robot companion was doing a good job of being a wingman, I liked being able to try everything and do everything, where I feel like if I had just jumped in with friends, may have not even gotten to try as much of the game that I tried. So there's a little bit of that. I got to be the boss of everything. I got to fly the ship when I wanted to fly the ship. I got to jump off of the ship and go do the ground assault when I wanted to do the ground assault. I got to fix up the ship when I wanted to, when it was time for that. So that did feel really, really good. I nearly did pickup groups. And if you go into the official Discord, there's like a looking for group channel. I nearly did that. It seems like something you could do. And there was a bunch of voice channels where people were sort of getting together, and it's 4-person crews, typically up to 4. So I think I really could have done that. It's just there's a little bit higher barrier to doing that, and I hadn't played, and I didn't feel like I had played enough of the game that I would want to inject
Right.
myself into someone else's game that way.
Yeah,
But
I get that.
it did feel it felt surprisingly good playing solo, so I liked that. I think that was cool. Yeah, and the robot dude was not annoying and did a good job. So yeah, the different parts of the game, it is a pretty smooth transition between. Okay, so you start by picking out a mission. You pick out a mission of a thing you need to go do. You know, you're gonna need like assault this place. You're gonna go to try to get and they give you some to start. They're like, you got to upgrade your ship. So go and you're just gonna get some basic resources. You're gonna scavenge this shipyard and you're gonna get some basic resources. Okay, so you click that on the mission map, and then when you get the mission, you go on the ship and you warp to the start of the mission. And that's what they're showing on the screen right now, which is you get this little planning map once you're in the mission of a route you can plan out. There's an end objective, but you have to kind of like hit a couple milestones along the way. And you have choices to make. So you need to do like at least 2 of the milestones leading up to the big milestone at the end, but maybe you have like 3 different routes you can choose. So you might be able to pick and choose the kinds of the kinds of encounters that you're going through before you get to the end objective, which is probably great for people that, I mean, you're probably going to end up with preferences. You know, I prefer the assault one. I prefer the blockade one. We want to go assault the space station, or we want to shoot a bunch of pirates in space flying around. Being able to pick and choose those encounters as you go and pick your path through the various encounters seems like a great opportunity to give some agency to the players to do it how they want. So I picked one, I picked my way. Once you pick the next encounter milestone as you're going towards the end objective, you warp towards that milestone. You have to get in the pilot seat. There's a thing, I don't know what happens when you're playing with other players, but it says, make sure everyone's seated before you hit warp. I don't know what, if you're going to like kill your friends if you warp too soon, if people don't sit down, but it seems to imply that. But you warp in then to the encounter area, and in the encounter area, it kind of goes like, all right, there's the thing you need to get to, and there's often like a land at that station or on that rock and go assault, go pick up the resources. But in order to do that, there's a bunch of ships flying around, a bunch of enemy ships, and you're fighting against like an AI robot army. That's the global antagonist of this hull. So you're a resistance against the AI robot army. So there's some of these AI robot ships flying around that warp in, and you typically need to start out by shooting them, by piloting your ship into some sort of dogfighting. And as your ship gets damaged, you might need to jump out of the pilot seat, or you have your friends be fixing the ship. You can also, there's kind of like a dynamic resource wall where you can unplug and plug in different modules, where maybe you're going to like unplug the warp module temporarily so you can plug in an assault, like a buff to your guns module, and plug that in temporarily and drop the warp core one on the ground. But then when it's time to warp out, because you got to get out of here because the sun's going supernova or whatever, hey, put the warp core back in. What are you doing? That kind of dynamic is happening along the way. And then fixing the ship, as I said, you got to be both putting out fires and doing repairs. There's urgent repairs and slower repairs that you can do as you're going along. But then you clear out those ships and you can kind of maneuver close to your target and get out of the pilot seat, or maybe just have a couple of the people on your crew, because maybe you need to keep somebody in the pilot seat to be defending of people in space. You launch yourself off the ship. You go either out of an airlock or there's these little jettison tubes to get into space a little more quickly. And your jetpack allows you to fly around, and you fly into the space station or onto the rock or onto the asteroid. And then it's kind of like a first-person shooter. You have guns, you have different guns you can swap out. You loot guns, there's loot crates, and there's robots that are coming in waves in the location where you're fighting, and you're shooting those robots and you're assaulting them, look like in ground combat. And that part also works really well. You have a grapple, and there's grapple points all over the place. So that's a key thing to make maneuvering and getting from location to location a lot more fluid. But there's like no load screens. You can have a person still like flying around doing loops in the ship, or you just like leave your ship floating in space and everyone can jump off the ship and go back at any time. In fact, a couple of the early training missions, you needed to make multiple trips back to your ship to bring resources. And it was all very fluid. It fit really well. It looked really good. The transition from floating in space to landing, there's sort of like gravity as soon as your boots hit the ground. That's done really well. The grappling to get from floating in space back to your ship, or from your ship to the base that you're trying to assault, felt really good and worked really well. Yeah, it's just really well implemented and feels really good from that perspective too. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. And then finally, graphically, I really like the graphical style, and I like it better than the other two games that we'll talk about. WildGate is much more kind of like Overwatch, which I think looks really good. This is slightly more kind of less cartoony. I wouldn't say it's super photorealistic. It's not like, super Unreal 5, it's still stylized, but it's that edge closer to, I think somebody said it looks a little bit more like Destiny. Yeah, a little bit more like that. So it's techno, sci-fi, somewhat hard surface model, somewhat realistic looking, but still stylized. And I really like the look and the art style of this, the best out of the three. So yeah, this is my favorite of them so far, even though I haven't played Void Crew. Well, I guess I haven't played WildGate either, did I? So I guess of all of the ones I've looked at with my eyeballs on people watching other people play, this is the one I liked the visual appeal of the best, that got me to play it, I guess. So there's that. But yeah, as I said, so there's actually three of them. So I'll talk about the other two, just to remind people here in just a second too. But what do you think of this kind of idea of a game, Sema, as well as the execution of what you're seeing that these guys did for Jump Space?
So one thing I'm unclear on is, when you are doing all this stuff, are you like fighting other players?
No. So that's
So
what I
it's
like
all
about
all PvE. Okay.
Yes. Void Crew and Jump Space are 100% PvE only, which I really prefer.
Appreciate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And that's kind of what kept me out of WildGate. WildGate has a lot of the same kind of mechanics in some really cool ways, but is team versus team, three teams fighting each other, PvP only. There's not a PvE version of WildGate. So what you're doing there is much more about, fighting other squads, and even watching people play, watching their streams and watching videos of people, even streamers that are even good at these games. You could just tell it's just a much more frustrating experience, because you're going to get slammed by the teams that are good. Maybe you're going to wipe other teams, but you're going to be, if things are fair, you're going to be losing 2/3 of the time. Whereas in a PvE game, you could win every single time. You could set the difficulty, whatever, and, just have fun clearing missions. And if you don't, you can retry it. You can go again, and get through it and make it through. But a PvP game where it's 3-on-3 teams, where you're
Yeah.
going to be losing, if it's fair, you're going to be losing 2/3 of the time. And you've got a lot of people that are, you just have like the people that now are masters of the game and only play this game. It just seems like a much higher bar to try to achieve, to queue up into that and just put yourself through that. I can see a lot of people really liking it though, too. I'm not disparaging it as a game style or a game mode, but you need to be prepared for it. So yeah, this and Void Crew as well. So Void Crew, any other questions? I'll queue up some Void Crew stuff here. Because I got a video on Void Crew too, which looks really good.
So just, aside from PvP, are you even aware of other players, or is it just you and your crew?
In WildGate?
In Jump Space.
So in no, it's maximum of 4 players like in the universe.
Gotcha.
Because it's basically like peer to peer. So there's no like MMO hub where everybody gets to like go and hang out.
Right.
It's nothing like that. You'd connect with 3 other friends on your Steam friends list. You all join a group. The Discord does seem to provide some amount of community, and you will kind of like level up your character across the career, because I saw people saying, I'm relatively new, but I'm, up to level 4, I'm looking for a group. Or it'll be people saying, we need one more person to come in and be a gunner who wants to join our group. So I think you could get community that way. But from the game perspective, none of that.
Right. Well, I feel like that is where we get a lot of community these days: Discord and Twitch chat and YouTube chat.
Yeah.
For YouTube Live, but yeah.
So this next, yeah, go ahead.
Well, so what is a mission? Like, what do you have to? How do you know when you're done? What are you out there doing?
So the mission has an end objective. Just a couple of the earlier ones that I did were resource gathering. You need to go get some resources. And then when you get back to like your hangar, which is sort of like a home base, there's NPCs where you can use those resources to upgrade your ship. So that seems to be like a thing that you're going to go do. So a couple of the key starting ones that I did were just resource gathering. I think there's other ones that are like, like assault or, some other kind of like kill the boss kind of objectives. But there is an end objective. So you need to do a couple of the milestones along the way to get you there, and then complete the end objective, which for me was go and get the resources. So fly around, clear out the enemy ships that are guarding the area, drop down physically, first-person shooter, go clear out the robots that are guarding the base that I'm assaulting, go physically pick up the resources that are laying on the ground, and go bring them back to the ship. And once I have my full load of the resources, hop back in the ship and warp out, and I'm done. I won. I did it. And depending on how well you did, you get like a score at the end, but it's pretty lightweight. You kind of, if you do it, you did it. You could get like, you killed 80% of the enemies along the way, kind of a couple extra metrics at the end. But yeah, so it's kind of just complete the mission. And you can pick other missions too. So that's actually really cool. Bring back your stuff. Check out the new guns you picked up along the way out of crates. Upgrade your ship. Add new components to it. If you put a new railgun on the ship, it actually, you can like walk around your ship outside of it and see the physical railgun there. In order to mount the railgun, you're actually taking like a module unit in your hands and bringing it over to the mounting area. You're not actually carrying the giant railgun, but you socket this thing in physically outside your ship while you're flying around in space with enemies shooting you potentially. But it's kind of very, very tactile and diegetic in that you've got these physical components that you're socketing in. That kind of feels good too. Yeah, so this other one, Void Crew, is also an indie studio. They're in Copenhagen. They have a small team. they've been developing this for a little while. They seem very cool as well. They're up to 12 people in their studio now. And they've had theirs out for a little bit longer. Their style is a little bit more, I would say a little bit more like No Man's Sky, where it's more like a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more like glowy, little bit lower poly, a little bit more of like neon aesthetic to everything. But in its own right, it looks interesting. They do something slightly different in how you create your character, in that you pick a class. Now, the classes basically only give you bonuses for the roles you might be doing as part of the crew. But you're playing with up to six-player crews in this. And when you pick your class, so the 4 classes are pilot, engineer, gunner, and scavenger. When you pick your class, it gives you bonuses to doing that role and like a skill tree as you're going through your missions to doing that role as part of your crew. Whereas in Void Crew, everybody's just sort of like your player and you're jumping into the roles. So a little bit of a twist there. And I think there's pros and cons to it. I kind of, in some ways, like the idea, the sound of that kind of skill progression as you're going as well. But in other ways, I like the idea that you could just switch it off and anybody can be anything in Jump Space, which might be a little bit harder in Void Crew. If you're the pilot, you should be piloting. And if you're a gunner, you're on the team as a gunner role. So come be a gunner. Now you're a gunner, just go gun. And you can't be like switching off as easily, potentially without maybe taking a hit to effectiveness from what it seems like. Didn't seem like it really precludes people from doing it. But as I said, I haven't played this one. Graphical fidelity, I think, is a little bit more much more stylized and a little bit, it's a graphical style I prefer just a little bit less than Jump Space. I wouldn't necessarily downgrade them for that or give them points off on a score. It's a stylistic choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like the style of Jump Space better. But that's just me. Yeah, and as I said, WildGate is very much like Overwatch in space, in some ways. Overwatch combined with Sea of Thieves in space. And I like the Jump Space style quite a bit better. So yeah, I just wanted to mention Void Crew, even though I didn't play it, because in doing this research and finding, it's like, no, Jump Space, another Sea of Thieves in space. And it's like, kept coming across these notes on Void Crew. And I was like, oh, is that what Jump Space used to be called? No, Jump Space did have 2 other names before it became Jump Space.
Right.
It was called Hyperspace or Hypergate or something originally. And then they changed their name to Jump Ship about a year ago. And then about 2 months ago, they had to change their name to Jump Space because they had a trademark conflict with something else that was named Jump Ship. We never really figured out exactly what it was. It might even have been a board game, but they decided to go with Jump Space to avoid that. But yeah, Void Crew, which a lot of people like as well. Seems like another good option. And in the spirit of, hey, you like this game? Let's have more of them. That sounds great to me.
Yes.
So hopefully these 2 teams are both seeing success. They both seem to be doing a good job. And I wish them both, and WildGate, wish all of them success and congratulate them on their good work.
It's just nice that there's so many space games now.
I appreciate that. I am a fan of space games. I'm a fan of the sci-fi in general. So I like having sci-fi games as an option. Keep my eye out there on Star Citizen. I'm going to get back into there before long, eventually, I'm sure. I keep playing No Man's Sky like crazy, like everyone is right now. I like the space games. Star Wars I don't consider as much a space game.
No,
It's
no, it
that's a
doesn't
fantasy
take
game.
place. Yeah, plus it doesn't take place in space most of the time.
Yeah, not very much. A little bit.
It's a different
Little
thing.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am happy that I got a chance to play it. All good. So cool. That's what I've got for this week, Sema. Anything else you wanted to chat about before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's it.
All right. I don't know what I'm going to play next week. How many days do we got before Legion Remix, which would potentially be an option? So 2 weeks before Legion Remix.
13,
And it'll be
yeah,
on
13
Tuesday
days.
of
Yep.
that week. Might be too soon to talk about it on the 8th, but we might. We'll see. I think I might pick an older survival game to play this weekend. So jump in the chat room or reply to the YouTube comments and tell me which survival game I should play. Should I go play 7 Days to Die? Should I play Sons of the Forest? Should I play Planet Crafter? Or something else? Planet Crafter's a little bit sci-fi, a little bit spacey. Should I go
Next
back
week
and play
will be-
Enshrouded with all the updates to Enshrouded? Yeah, let me know what I should
Oh,
play.
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
Enshrouded
Stask is
sounds like-
saying 7 days. Another thing that,
Oh, that's a good idea too. Yep.
Stask, the thing that caught me with the 7 Days to Die trailer was how you're kind of just like breaking up crates and stuff and using that as resources. I kind of like that concept. Whereas, as opposed to like, go out into the world and there's a node and go mine that node. Oh, Machete's back in 7 days. Oh, maybe I should do maybe we should. Is it multiplayer? Could I jump into your world and
Yeah.
should we get Sema in there and she can punch us in the head while she figures out how to gather resources? All right, we'll see what's going on in the next week or so. Maybe that will be what we talk about next week. We shall see. And with that, all the feed and subscribe links are on newoverlords.com, and our video is on YouTube/newoverlords. Please come chat with us in our Discord at newoverlords.com/Discord. And you can also follow on all the social networks, and we'll keep you up to date there too. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.